Welcome to the R Spot, the place we come to and examine and explore all kinds of things about all kinds of relationships. The goal is to gather and hopefully use the information that is shared here to improve our relationships in every aspect of our lives. Today, I'm actually responding to a letter I received, and the subject is quite juicy, and I've given it a great deal of thought and prayer. Someone wrote to ask me, is it possible to be in love with two people at the same time? My response, of course you can. But how to do it without breaking hearts can be pretty tricky and often quite messy. So here's today's topic: loving two people at the same time. Now, I'm not talking about random or serial cheating. I'm talking about actually being in love with two people and being willing to be in relationship with both of them at the same time. I have a friend who's always telling me that he's not a one-woman man. He's in a long-term relationship with a woman he loves and a woman he doesn't want to cheat on, and at the same time, he finds himself miserable. While he loves her, she no longer stimulates him emotionally or psychologically, and he loves his partner and hasn't cheated on her, but he finds himself looking around at and engaging with other women in very dangerous ways. He says he could easily be with another woman or other women just for the stimulation and the excitement of it, and that he still loves his partner. So I ask him, well, why don't you just leave her? He says, because I love her. But he also knows that he can love someone else at the same time. For a long time, I told him that he was crazy and greedy. Then a female friend of mine presented me with the same exact issue. She's in relationship with a man she loves, and yet she has discovered that she's fallen in love with someone else. Now, she says she hasn't cheated, but she also says she knows that she's quite capable of doing so. Lord, sometimes I wish people did not tell me their problems. But as I went through my mail, I discovered not one or two, but several letters where people were facing the same or similar situation, loving two people at the same time. So let me ask you, have you ever found yourself falling in love with someone when you're already in a committed relationship? Have you ever been in love with two people at the same time? And if so, please know you are not alone. While it may crush your current partner to know that, or horrify you because it seems morally unethical, falling in love with two people is just as simple as falling in love with one person. See, when you think about it, love is an emotion that can be experienced anytime with anyone when the conditions are right. So you like someone a lot, you find them attractive, and you may even be sexually excited about them, and bam, you fall in love. Now you meet someone else, you find them attractive, and you're sexually excited around them, and bam, you're in love with a new person. Are you in love with two people? Absolutely. Now here comes the tricky part. Love is not the issue. Commitment, honesty, integrity, and discipline are the issues. It is absolutely possible and also ridiculous to assume that you can't fall in love with two people. Now, I will admit that some people are simply greedy and they want to have everything and everyone they think they want. They are uncommitted and they're uncaring. I'm not talking about that. There are those natural, normal situations, like most teenagers and even committed partners in relationships who feel wrong and crazy when they find themselves in love with two people. Know that it is possible, it is natural, and it is even expected. The challenges arise when we sneak around, when we lie, and when we fail to be honest with ourselves and others about what we're feeling. You may not love your partner any less just because you find yourself falling in love with someone new. You're not wrong, and your partner may not have done anything wrong. And if your partner is falling in love with someone else, don't think it has anything to do with you. It simply means that their heart is open, they're sharing energy, and they will get to choose. You get to choose how you respond to how you feel. Being in love with two people and having a relationship with two people are not the same thing. If you are in a relationship and find that you have fallen in love with someone else, it is up to you to choose what you're going to do. Love is not and has never been a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We fall in love and out of love with different people in different ways at different times, and we can end up feeling romantically excited about two different people at the same time. It's possible. However, it's always in your control to choose the second love or let it go. It can be as simple as taking a step back and putting a stop to the flirty conversation and not engaging in any sneaky dates. The feelings of love and lust may linger for a while, but trust me, they will go away. It's all about your commitment to the first person and your willingness to practice discipline and control. It's about being honest with yourself and at times with your partner and doing what is required to avoid emotional confusion and torment. You see, it's easy to fall for someone when you're in the late stages of love with your present partner. You two already have a rhythm and a groove. You're familiar. There are some things you may even take for granted. You may not be bored, but you desire a little more excitement. So when you meet someone who excites you, the promise of something new can be quite alluring. This is where discipline and commitment must kick in. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Yes, you can experience two different stages or two different kinds of love at the same time, and it won't be a contradiction in your being. With your current partner, you're familiar and content, while the new partner offers you something else, excitement or maybe passion. Now, here's something to consider. You may be passionately in love with this new person for the first few months, but love matures. And the mature love you have is very different from the passionate, fiery love you experience at the beginning of a relationship. The trick is not to fall into the belief that one is better than the other. If you're in a relationship, you probably already know that passion will wane. So while you may be hot and bothered at the beginning, trust and believe that 3 months from the first date, you will have more of what is familiar. So if you find yourself loving or being attracted to a new person, here's a few tips that'll keep you safe. Don't compare the old to the new. Most people who fall in love with someone new start comparing their old flame, their old lover, to the new lover. And almost always, they will assume that the new lover is sexier or more loving or more caring. But that is not always true. Remember, sexual passion fires up and it may sizzle out as the years go by. But true love matures into a happy relationship. Now, on the other hand, a new lover may excite you and remind you of your earlier years in love. But you also have to realize that the lusty excitement of a new secret relationship may only last for a few months, maybe a few years. Then what? So if you ever compare your lovers, make sure you compare their compatibility, not their passion. You will always want to be where you know the love will last. Second tip, don't do anything that you don't want done to you. Very often when we find ourselves falling in love with a new person, we'll justify it by telling ourselves, oh, it's just for a little while. I'll do it once. No one will ever know. This is where integrity kicks in. Can you live with the possibility of lying to your partner? If you can live with yourself knowing you're a liar who doesn't honor commitments and who will probably break the heart of both people, then go ahead and do it. And if you're not, then I encourage you to run. Now, there are a few problems when it comes to being in love with two people. The main one being, as a society, we're just not ready to handle the details of being in intimate relationship with more than one person at a time. So we make it wrong. You may truly love this new person, but it will be considered an illicit affair, not a budding romance. Also, when we are in love, it's natural to want to reproduce that love. That means children. And once children are produced, you have the issue of legal and financial responsibility, and that's where it can get real messy, a la Maury Povich messy. So the best way to deal with the problem of being physically or romantically attracted to a new person when you're already in a relationship is to walk away from one of the people. I know it's hard, but it's still the best way out. And if you want to have two lovers, there are a few things that you want to think about and work your way around. First of all, would your current partner accept it? If you want to be in love with two people at the same time, you have to let both people know. Otherwise, you're making choices for people that they may not make for themselves. Do you think your current partner has the emotional maturity and strength to accept your choice? And if not, are you willing to hurt, anger, and possibly lose your current partner? The second thing you got to consider is jealousy. Even if they both say it's okay, and you do your best to balance your love life with two partners, making sure you give both of them equal attention, sooner or later, I guarantee you, one of them is going to end up feeling jealous. Then what? I'm not sure that in our culture and society, we are programmed and conditioned to share our lovers, so jealousy is natural. And 3, what do you do when your partner wants to do the same thing? Let's face it. You have two lovers, and you get to have twice the fun. What would you do if your partner wants to do the same thing and begins to have a relationship with someone else? Are you okay with that possibility? And how can you say you're not if you're doing the same thing? So again, loving two people and being in a relationship with two people are two completely different things. Now listen, there is no way around it other than to say, yeah, you can love two people at the same time, but you better believe if you try to act it out, it's going to get messy. And lying about it or sneaking around is not going to turn out well for you. So the bottom line is this. You have a right to feel it. You have a right to do what's good for you. And if you really love someone, understand that you have a heart in your care. You've got to find the best way to deal with falling in love with two people. And for me, that means breaking away from one relationship and hopefully living happily in the other. That means you better have a deep commitment, real clear integrity, and lots of discipline, because there's a lot of people out there who want to love you. And what if what you're feeling is just a crush? What if it's just a crush and you create all of this havoc and upset? Don't confuse yourself over your emotions. Crushes come and go. And even if it does turn into a serious relationship, you always have the option to walk away. Look, love is complicated enough. And it's easier to be in love with one person, whoever that may be, whoever you pick. When you love two people, you just have double complications. So yes, you can love two people at the same time, but you absolutely must choose how you're going to handle it. Choose well, choose wisely, and do what feels right for you and honors both of the people that you love.